gong. Unless you want a
No, I
gong.
don't. See you all this morning. I am Jessica Suselik, the co-founder of Soul Center OC with my mom, Patricia Griffith, our angel in heaven. And myself, on behalf of the board of directors, would like to welcome you this beautiful Sunday morning. It's so nice that it's a little overcast to give us a little fun preview of the fall to come. So let's start with our declaration that is in your program. If you would please stand and we can say it with real conviction. There is one life, and that life is God. That life is perfect, and that life is my life now. I am here to receive the divine message for me. I am awake, I am tapped in, and I am transformed. We are going to let Lisa do the announcements, but I would love to just briefly give you the update on our marketing visioning that we've been doing on Mondays. It's been going spectacularly, led by Scott Cohen. And we are gathering on Monday nights in the month of August to really get together and discover through the visioning process what Spirit's description and vision of we are able to in a way because we know this gorgeous community that we are, and we are working together to vision what that marketing campaign looks like. So tomorrow night will be our third marketing visioning, and you can join us either on Zoom or in person. Either way is fabulous. You need not have any experience in marketing or visioning, but we are excited to come together and see what comes about. And it's been beautiful so far, really, really beautiful. So thank you everyone who's participated, and I hope to see you tomorrow night.
Sounds lovely.
Yes.
Okay, and then just to let everybody know who's here in person, we have fresh air coming in to be mindful of safety, and seating on the patio. You guys can't see that. Breathing, but it's lovely. Come join us and be safe here. So masks are optional, but please be mindful of personal space, and air hugs, which are just as impactful and warm. And then hands on our hearts for our closing peace song rather than hold hands. Events and classes, Jessica already mentioned the visioning marketing event, so please join us either in person. If you want to, you can do it via Zoom, but if it's in person, you're meeting promptly at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, and you can find, the address is 1900 Port Carlo, Newport, if you want to join in person. And there's a class coming up, online, 5-week class. Our classes are phenomenal, so yes, please take advantage of this opportunity. But this one is called Meditation, a Joyful Practice, 5 weeks online, and we'll explore and practice various types of sacred meditation, focusing on the central principles of centering and expanded awareness. This class is for beginners, or you can even be a master and learn and even heighten your skills and improve your skills. It's lovingly designed to meet you where you're at and lift you into an even deeper meditation practice. And this begins Wednesday, August 24th, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific. Oh, Reverend Keith's Daily Affirmative Prayers. It streams live on the Soul Center Facebook page or on Zoom at 9:30 a.m. Pacific daily, except Sundays because we have him here. We need it. The Zoom link can be found in our weekly newsletter or at soulcenteroc.com. Oh, A Course in Miracles. Join service on the monthly for an opportunity. Or you we're going off next Sunday and on
Oh.
And you can see our welcome table to sign up, or feel free to show up and we'll see you in. I think we're also going to celebrate some August birthdays. Prayer chat, prayer shawls are here and online holding. You just can go outside or see at gmail.com. Contributing. Permanent building. Point five of your choice, which will be select. All right. And shopping. Getting more connected with us. Join a Soul Circle small connection group by contacting Scott at soulcirclesoc@gmail.com. We're currently meeting via Zoom, but meeting musicians.
To do all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. Release. With
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Lynn Shanky. Our reading is taken from Into Me See by Reverend Karen S. Wiley, entitled Answering the Soul's Call. The fear is fading into the background of my life. I am stepping out on faith and trust and walking the walk. I see that I have never been limited, only to the degree that I have limited myself. As I have answered my soul's call, my love for God and my awareness of God's love for me have deepened. What joy to walk in the depth of this love. We hold on so fiercely to our little lives as though it is all we have. In reality, the activity of our little lives is not even an appetizer to what God has in store for us. The great wealth that many of us pray for is not even the answer, for many with great wealth are locked in intense fear. It is rather an internal realization of the infinite supply of God as one's life. The realization of one's divine nature, one's holiness, the one's sacred identity that sets one free. It is not something attained on the outside. It is completely an inside job. With God, all things are possible. We live then in possibility consciousness. Oh, let us turn with sight. What a beautiful reading. Thank you, Reverend Keith. What a great choice. As we center into this grateful space, thinking and knowing about how we have so much to be grateful for. We live in a beautiful place. We're surrounded by loved ones and community and family, and we are all so blessed. I know that I'm grateful for all these things and so much more. I'm grateful to know and to recognize the one presence, the one power, the one source that is all around us, that beautiful loving energy that governs the universe. Knowing that God has our back, that we can walk the walk and talk the talk, and God is right there with us the whole time. Knowing that we are one with His presence, one with His source. I know that I am one with God. I know that each and every one of us here are one with God, one with the divine. Hearing God in the laughter of and the hollers of the kids playing soccer, in the music, in the message. It is all around us. Just breathing in that God, that knowing that God is all there is. I know this day is a perfect day, a wonderful day, a day filled with community and love and laughter and beautiful music and dancing, filling our souls, our hearts to overflowing. And as we feed ourselves, we can feed our friends, our neighbors, with kindness and love and joy. I'm blessing the service, knowing that it is perfect. Blessing Reverend Keith as he gives us the gift of his wit, his wisdom, his humor, in his divine, unique expression of God. Blessing Jessica and Patricia for this wonderful place that we can call home. Blessing Jesse and Brian and Deanna, knowing that we are so blessed by their music and their talents, and so thankful that they are sharing them with us. Blessing all of us as we lean into the message, lean into the music, and grow and expand our consciousness, our awareness, and share it with others. Raining down blessings everywhere we go with kindness and love and laughter. What a way to live. What a way to be. I let it go, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Woo! Woo! Thank you. Thanks for letting me just let it all out.
Yes.
Okay, now it is time for our agape affirmations. You will find them in your program and coming up on the screen. We'll speak a line and then we'll all repeat them aloud together with sincerity and acceptance. Please rise. I am available now as a rich and mighty blessing on this planet.
I am available now as a rich and mighty blessing on this planet.
The universal law of cosmic good is always working in my life.
The universal law of cosmic good is always working in
emerging with grace and ease.
The idea that God planted in my soul is emerging with grace and ease.
I choose to reveal the highest and best within me no matter what.
I choose to reveal the highest and best within me no matter what.
Excellence breaks through into every sphere of my existence.
Excellence breaks through into every sphere of my existence.
These words of affirmation are grounded in truth and founded in gratitude.
These words of affirmation are grounded in truth and founded in gratitude.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
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 Thank you.
So, I really love this song. And before I sing us to just take a moment and look at the beautiful beings in the place with us. Just take a moment to just connect eye to eye, heart to heart, soul to soul. And this song is called Star People. And I want you, as you took in the beautiful people around you, to realize that you're surrounded by stars. Each and every one of us is a star person. And I'm thinking about, Miss Patricia, I feel her, and she's returned back home. She's shining so bright. So, gosh, I feel her so strong. So, but it's called Star People. It's one of my favorites, and it's just a reminder of who we are, those who walk among us, and that we are stars too. We don't have to be. You are the star. So many people, you are the light and the sun. So
Beautiful.
Do you remember the time when we were one with the sun, and all the joy that we had was in our hearts? We were one. The points focused on us, and we enjoyed this dream, in and out at our will, saturated auspiciously. Our people come now, we are preparing to be with you again. Star people come now, we are preparing to be with you again. We've been missing and missing and missing and missing and missing the point of who we are and why we came. And as this reality deceives us, we get caught and lose our aim. We get in the way of ourselves, and we dismiss the point. We get in the way of ourselves, and we make it so hard. But star people come down, we are preparing to be with you again. Star people come out, we are preparing to be with you again. we should be. And as we swing back and forth, one day we will awake from this dream to see that you are here as you have always been, guided from a buried cemetery. And as promised through our evolution, one day we'll be free. Preparing to be with you again. Star people, come down. We are preparing to be with you again. Star people, come down. We are preparing to be with you again. All our angels come down. We are preparing to be with you again.
The brilliant, the magnificent, my Egyptian soul sister Deanna Carpenter, more love. And that is because we were on the Agape trip to Egypt in 2019, and it was brilliant. And she's amazing, and we love you, and I love you, and thank you for being here. And of course, the boys. Also known as Brian Eric and Jesse Godoy, and we love you even more this week. Even more, because that's all that's happening is I'm going to love the things more all the time. That's the human journey. There's an evolution taking place here, and you want to have it be a revolution in your own life, because we are here. We are here to toss our own tables and make sure that we are not devolving, but that we are evolving. And so sometimes that evolution takes a revolution in order for us to grow. So welcome, good morning, Soul Center. Good morning. Are you ready to rock and soul? Yes. Oh, that was pretty good out the gate. All right. Are you ready to rock and soul, all of you love streamers? Yes. You got a big yes on your behalf. And I'm saying hello to all of those of you streaming. I know we've got some people. We got some people streaming in from Africa. We got people streaming in from the East Coast. We've got people streaming in from around the world. So we welcome you. Just a footnote, if you are streaming in, if you ever have a glitch on the YouTube, you can always switch over to the Instagram, but that would be the Soul Center Instagram for the live feed there, if you ever have a problem. And that goes for you if you're ever at home in bed saying like, oh, I don't know if I could make it to Soul Center today. I know there's some of you out there too. So, but we love that we're in person. The energy feels good, and I am so grateful. I was thinking, I am one of the luckiest ministers in all the universe, because this community is brilliant. We have such loving, brilliant people. Those of you streaming in too, I've met a lot of you in the classes. I've met a lot of you on the daily affirmative prayer. And as Reverend Michael would say, there is no luck. There is a conscious cultivating of this, a conscious cultivating. And I remember when I was thinking like, oh, what's the kind of community? Because for about a year and a half before I landed in Soul Center as the first time that I ever spoke here, I was going around speaking at all these different New Thought communities, spiritual centers, and I was like, right after I spoke at Soul Center, I was like, if I was going to have a spiritual center, it would be just like Soul Center. And then about 2 months later, that's when Patricia and Jessica said, would you mind? I was like, oh, it's already done. So that's how you rock and soul. And so welcome. We are an Agape affiliate, part of the New Thought Ageless Wisdom Teachings, part of the Agape International Spiritual Center, which means that we are a mystical sect. Back in the ancient times, a few hundred years before Jesus and a little bit of time after Jesus, and including the master teacher, Jesus, or Yeshua ben Joseph, also known as Jesus the Christ, not Jesus Christ as in his last name is Christ, but the Christ as the title of his enlightenment that he brought to the world. And the Essenes were a mystical sect of people. And they said, you know what? All of this that's going on with the Pharisees and the priests and the rabbis of the temple that only speak of things, but then go ahead and maybe contradict themselves. They say, do as I say, not as I do. We want to actually go into the mystical teachings of what these teachings, what Scripture actually means, and we want to live them. So they took this mystical sect of people and they went outside of Jerusalem, down to the near today would be the Qumran area by the Dead Sea, and they formed this mystical society. And part of the mystical society was that you had to be clean on a regular basis. You had to clean yourself from your own internal dirtiness. Dirtiness just means being with temporal energies of worries, doubts, fears, complaining, blaming, shaming. Those are the energies that they would be clean of. So they would do it literally through meditation and the mystical experiences and practices, and also through the mikveh baths, where they would literally, they built these big baths, and there would be a staircase that would take you down, and then you would move across, and then you'd come out the other side, and that was part of a ritual of cleansing. It was a physical expression of the eternal mystical energy of keeping yourself clean. And so they knew that just as the theme of the month is for us in August, that we are turning up the heat of spiritual power, which means you're going to take deliberate control, or dominion as we like to say. Capital C control, dominion are kind of the same. Lowercase c control is the ego trying to control things. And that, if you dovetail it with the topic for today, which is stop putting out fires and light one. Light a fire under your bum and get moving. That's what we want to do. We want to light a fire. Now, there is an eternal fire that's already lit within us. We just want to fan the flames. And as the ancient mystic Rumi said, get your life on fire and seek those who will fan your flames. That means you are going to participate. You get to consciously choose that which will fan the flame of your strengths, your gifts, your powers. Now, sometimes easier said than done. But if we don't take the time to sit and be still and know, okay, what is it that I would like to experience? What kind of relationships would I like to have? What's the highest expression of a sacred, holy relationship? What's the highest expression of prosperity in my life? What's the highest expression of self-love in my life? These are the kind of questions that we ask, not because we want to take a test and say, oh, well, what would the answer to that be? We want to ask those questions because they are activators. They activate the universal response that then will start to move and groove itself through you. The universe is not inert. It never just sits there and says, oh, I'm just, waiting for you. I'm just filing my nails, waiting for you to just do something. No, the universe is always, all the laws are constantly in flow, constantly in an omni-affective expression. That which, if you take a yoga class, we call chi or prana, life force. Whatever you want to call it, there is an omni-activity that is omniamorous. We remember in our teachings that God is all good, all loving, all powerful, and everywhere, omnipresent in every dimension of every incarnation, in the tips of your fingers and your toes, closer than your neck vein and your breath and breathing, is the good, is the prosperity, is the joy, is the wellness. And it came with a perfect blueprint. And you are going to be asked, as Joseph Campbell would remind us on the hero's journey, the hero's journey is that which kind of is reflective in a microcosmic way of a human lifetime, where you come into the world, you're born into a set of situations and circumstances that sometimes are glorious and sometimes are horrendous from a personal perspective, but they are going to build something within you. They're going to call upon a muscle, they're going to call upon gifts that you are going to rise into. Now, sometimes people take that as something that is daunting and crushing, and they go small, and other times people use it. If you ever met one of those people that ever, you're like, oh, you should da-da-da, and they're like, you should da-da-da, and they kind of just flip it around, or like, oh, you're la-la-la, and they're like, you're la-la-la. You want to make sure that we go ahead and we start to take dominion, and we understand what is it that you want. We want to make sure that as we move through life, I'd like you to remember this. You can't outsmart God, but you can let God outsmart you. You can't outsmart God because God knows everything and always and only an elegant, brilliant expression. But you can let God outsmart you because if that's what surrender is, you allow yourself to move into being outsmarted from your own issues, the issues that reside in your tissues that would keep you from your good. The only thing that keeps you from your good is you. Now, we remember in our community that is never a recipe for, oh, let me beat myself up. I'm not getting my good, so I must be bad, and there must be something wrong with me. Nope. That just means that there's an erroneous idea. There's an erroneous belief in your subconscious that is keeping you from your good. We want to, because we know that God is all loving, all giving, never withholding, always lavishing, always praising, and always raising. There is no such thing as a punishing God. There is no such thing as a withholding God. There are laws that govern the universe that keep order, and if you violate a law, if you violate the law of pyrotechnics, you might get burned. That does not mean God was like, oh, you're bad, I'm going to burn you. That does not happen. That does not exist. What does exist is that as God praises and raises, we want to move into praising and raising. We want to make sure that we surrender our issues to the degree that we don't allow our legitimate desires to be doused by our illegitimate beliefs. Don't let your legitimate desires be doused by your illegitimate beliefs. That means there's something that is burning, that is yearning to experience and express itself brilliantly. And that ought be an intention that you want to be keenly aware of. When you become keenly aware of the burning and the yearning of the desires within you, which is an impulse that comes right from the mind and the heart of God, a lot of times people say, oh, my heart's desire. If you follow the energy of creation, the desire impulse comes down in from your soul to your heart. And then if you let it go from your heart to your mind, you will be an aha. You will be a house united. You will be on the same page within your own self. Now, years ago, I was working with a gentleman, and he had just gotten divorced for the second time. And his wife had put a restraining order on him because he had anger issues. And so we started to look, and he finally got to the point after the second marriage that fell apart in similar ways to the first marriage, and had in part to do with his anger issues. And so he finally was like before the first marriage because he was entering into the second marriage. And of course, after you leave one rotten experience, oftentimes, especially when it comes to dating and things, you put your best foot forward and you can take and you can use your anger management skills and you can kind of suppress all those things that get you angry and tick you off because I want to impress them and I want them to love me. So that's what he did. But then as you know, when the honeymoon phase is over, and then all of a sudden things kind of matriculate back to the way they are, and then his anger issues started coming up again. And so he went to anger management classes. And after a while, he found out it wasn't working. A lot of the anger management techniques were trying to suppress, push down. They never actually addressed, what is it that I'm angry about? Now, what he was angry about, he didn't even know. He could tell you superficially what he was angry about. He was angry because his wife didn't put things a certain way. She wasn't holding up her end of the bargain. She wasn't taking care. They were having parenting issues. I want to parent this way. You want to parent that way. And then they would collide. They were doing that thing where, one parent says, sure, you can do that. And the other parent says, you totally nullified what I was doing. We're not co-parenting together as a team. So that would tick him off and things of that nature. And eventually, again, the divorce happened. So we started to do some work and say, oh, well, what is it? He felt, as we tapped into it, he felt unheard. And he felt, as he felt into it, I kept digging, and I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version. He felt that he was unwanted. Whenever somebody would neglect one of his desires, he felt unwanted. Well, it turns out that this gentleman happened to have been adopted. And he was raised in a very loving family. His adoptive parents were wonderful. But then one day, after he turned 18, he decided, I'm going to go check out and find my birth mom. And through a series of events, he found his birth mom, and she agreed at one point, I think around the time when he was 19, that they were going to get together and meet. She lived in a different state. He went there, they met, and she basically, in essence, said, I'm not exactly sure why I agreed to meet you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. And that's it. And she was going to basically leave. He was devastated. That did not go exactly the way he thought. He thought it was going to go, I'm so glad you reached out, etc., etc. And it didn't happen that way. Well, turns out that from that day, that's when the anger issues really started to grow in his life, because he had been rejected, he had been excluded, he was unwanted from one of the places that you would think would be the most inclusive, embracive, loving places that, you would think, like one of the Hallmark movies, where it's like, oh my God, it was so hard, I can't believe I had to give you up. That did not happen. That anger got transposed into other situations where he was feeling excluded, unheard, unwanted, but it was so beneath the radar of his conscious mind that he didn't know that was happening. We actually went into a meditative state, we were doing some work, and we got to it. And when he realized, now we have to take out, now this is the part that confuses people sometimes, things that are going on in the real world, and the reason that's in quotes is because this is not the real world. And as a matter of fact, let's just put something to rest here. Those of you who loved the movie The Matrix, great movie, came out, 22 years ago or something like that, and it's, mystical and spiritual and all that jazz. But remember, there's one thing about The Matrix that never sat well with me, that Neo or whoever it was, they were going into the Matrix where the computers were kind of using humans and sucking their energy and creating this alternate world that was in the cyber world and all that jazz. And every time what they were doing is they were trying to dismantle the Matrix and come back to reality. Well, that was just humanity reality. That's not the real reality. So even in the Matrix, spoiler alert, the real reality isn't even actually being sought. The real reality is your oneness with God. The real reality is who you are born in the image and likeness of. That's what we're looking for. He needed to get to a place that he was never forsaken, never abandoned, and that whatever his birth mom had gone through had nothing to do with him. But he personalized it. He personified that there must be something wrong with me. And whenever you're hurt, because we remember, you cannot be angry. It's impossible to be angry or frustrated unless you are hurt. Hurt is where it all stems from. Hurt is what we heal. We allow ourselves to heal the hurt, and you will be set free. If you hold on to hurt and you hold on to certain angers long enough, then they will move from the mental through the emotional, and they'll show up, and your body will start to let you know what's going on. We want to be so compelled that I am going to allow myself to know the absolute truth. We want to know that God is the light that lighteth our lamp. And that fire is what we want to invite and evoke and allow within us. We want to allow. You are not separate from the fire that illuminated. And as Deanna was singing in her song about the sun and the stars, that was just like a perfect metaphor. We are one with this. And there's a fire that is burning and yearning to see the light of day as you. And it doesn't. The universe does not settle for mediocrity. If you've gone to any of the natural wonders of the world, even the ones that have, some of them that have been man-made, so to speak, are pretty phenomenal. What is going out in the realm of nature. Just the idea that this tiny little thing that could look like a grain of sand can all of a sudden blossom into this big bush, or it could blossom into a tree. There's a code in there that knows how to bring it forward. And then we can go to the tree and eat the fruit, and that fruit can turn into fuel in our body and bring us energy. It's all magnificent. And when we think of back in the Hebrew Bible, when we're thinking of Exodus and we're thinking of Moses and the burning bush, which we went to the place where the burning bush was, to the bottom of Mount Sinai. And it was pretty phenomenal because we got to, allegedly, we were at the place where Moses came and saw the burning bush. And there's an actual bush, and there's a church that's built on the property there. And that burning bush, a lot of people think, that the actual bush was on fire. And as we all remember the story, but it was unconsumed by the light. It was unconsumed by the fire. What that was the fire of truth that was burning. And it was something that could be unconsumed or unextinguished by the temporal world. And that burning bush exists within you. There's a burning bush within your heart that is seeking to express itself, illuminate itself, shine itself everywhere. And we're all going to say yes to the expression of that light, which means we're not going to fall prey to blaming or shaming, and we're not going to fall prey to allowing the excuses. Excuses are definitely, that is something that will diminish your light. We're not going to excuse or avoid that which is seeking to reveal itself or express itself in our lives. Excuses like, it's the economy, it's so-and-so, it's because this is going on, it's because that is going on. We all know that every visionary, even the temporal visionaries, like Ford and all the rest of those, the Rockefellers and things of that nature, those visionaries didn't take no for an answer. They said yes. They said, you know what? No matter what, I'm going to get it done. Now, sometimes they did things in a more nefarious way. They used temporal energies to get things done. But in God, all things are made new. In God, all things are made possible. And God will go before you to make the crooked path straight, which will require faith and patience. Faith and patience. When you sit in the stillness, when you go into meditation, we're going to be doing this in our meditation class. We are going to be exploring mantra. We're going to be exploring reflection. We're going to be exploring contemplation. Contemplation is when you contemplate something. You contemplate the wellness of your body. You contemplate the sacredness of a relationship. You contemplate a world where there's no racism. You contemplate a world where there's no war. You contemplate these things and you allow yourself to be lit with the energy that holds it so profoundly. And there are monks and masters around the globe that's what they do. They hold in the eternal frequencies and they shine that light out into the world. And that is our job, to hold to the eternal frequencies. So if you want to be spiritually selfish, which is okay. Spiritual selfishness means that you win and everybody wins. Egoic selfishness usually means I win and you lose. So we don't participate in egoic selfishness. We do participate in spiritual selfishness, which means I'm going to seek the win-win. What's the win-win? Which might mean at some times, every once in a while, the win-win might mean I need to acquiesce and step back and detach, or unattach would be a more appropriate way to say it. Unattached from what I think is the intended outcome. I want to be open to the divine idea. So in contemplation, you get to contemplate what that is that's going on in your life, and you get to be open. So it's kind of like taking your regular headlights on your car and taking them off the low beams and put it on the high beams and see what's beyond the edge of the end of those headlights and open up to see more. And when you do see more, when you see what's beyond, you won't be attached to the limited idea. You go, oh, now I see what's going on. That's part of what we do in visioning. That's what we do in meditation. When we open up, I can see greater now. I once was blind and now I see. And I see beyond the limited purview of an attachment to a limited situation or circumstance. The only thing that's important is, what is the divine idea? How is it to express? And I will stay connected to that. I will allow myself to know and embody the divine idea of what it means to be born in the image and likeness of God. You're not a wallflower. You're not here to just sit on the sidelines and let life pass you by. Now, it is an option. It's an option if you want to just sit and let life pass you by. If you want to be in Reverend Michael's, as he talks about the 4 stages of conscious evolution and that low one, which is victimization, where things are happening to me, you can do that. That's one of the options of free will and free choice. Or you can step yourself up and grow yourself and make sure that you look at, what is it that I desire? What is it that you really desire? Then see, do I have any excuses that would keep me from what I desire? There is your prayer. Your prayer resides in treating or bringing the energy to transmutation to the excuse. What most people get lost on is, I keep praying for my soulmate. I'm just going to keep praying for my soulmate. Well, back up. Put on your high beams. If you've got roadblocks that are keeping you from your soulmate, get rid of the roadblocks. Those are your excuses. So when you sit with the desire, let yourself marinate in it. Let yourself feel the fire within. Then find out what your excuses are. Do you have any? Well, but, this. And don't make the mistake of rationalizing an excuse as being a real thing. No. We don't take no for an answer in our spiritual growth. That doesn't mean we're stubborn. That doesn't mean you're going to plow through people to get what you want. It means you will energetically transform your own no's into yeses. When you are ready to receive, you will receive. That is the way the universe works. Those are the laws that govern the universe. If you are not ready to receive, you will be ready to receive. That means if you're conscious and you're being readied to receive, it's going to be fun. If you're unconscious and you're being readied to receive, it's not going to be fun. It's going to feel like the universe is working against you. And then you're going to say things like, how could God let this happen? Why does the universe let cruelty happen? No, we don't participate in that. The temporal world of what we're experiencing a little bit right now, you have free will and free choice. If you want to, as I shared once upon a time, didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but when I was working with a gentleman who was a boxer, and he would share stories about his broken rib and his jaw getting displaced and the bruises and the punches, and I know people, if you like boxing, go for it. And I know it's like, okay, even if you're going to put a big puffy glove on here and you're going to go boom in my face or in my midsection, I'm not interested. He was interested. He liked it. And he wore those broken bones and all those wounds and scars as badges of honor. And I was like, okay, free will. You get to be pulverized. You enjoy it. All right, not my thing. So turns out he started to change his mind a little bit later down the line, because when he came to see me, he had just turned 50 and he was starting to feel some of the stuff. And I'm like, well, was it so good? But in God, all things are made new. So we started to heal. What was it? What was it? And there was a little thing. It wasn't a huge thing, but there was a little bit of a thing in there that he had done something when he was younger, and it was a way that he would kind of punish himself. So that doesn't mean all boxers are doing that. Don't take away that. It just means that there was a little something in there. It wasn't a huge something because in general, he was like an amazing guy. He almost got me convinced. Yeah, let me get me in the ring. I mean, the way he went on about boxing, I thought, you know what, maybe. But no, I'll keep my rib cage just the way it is. All right, so we are going to make sure that we connect with our desire. We become aware of any excuses. And we're not going to do it alone. We're not going to do this alone. We are here. This community represents fellowship. It represents support. And in all sacred communities, when we go back to the Essenes, back thousands of years ago, it was all about being there in a sincere way. Now, there is a part of our spiritual practice that you do on your own. You do your own personal meditation. You do your own personal prayer. You do your own sacred seva. You do your own personal acts of kindness. You do those things on your own, and you do the stuff with others. Because you didn't come here to just be one little entity all by myself, a drop of water that's just going to kind of move through the ocean all by itself. I'm just my own drop of water. I'm not going to merge with you guys. No, I'm not being part of that wave. I'm just going to scooch over here. No, we're not here to do that. We're here to feel our connection. We start with our family. We move out, and as it turns out, just as a footnote, this gentleman, after the anger management and all that was released, I said, well, what do you want to do about your birth mom? I say, we don't take no for an answer. She wants to have a sacred, holy relationship no matter what came out of her mouth. Her soul wants to have a sacred relationship with you. You're not going to believe a temporal expression where a reactive expression comes out of someone's mouth. You know, it's the same thing you heard me say before when the little kids like, I hate you, Mommy, you won't give me my candy. And I was like, they don't really hate you. She didn't really mean that. And as we did the work and we got to a place where we got more stable and we were like, 2 years later, took a minute. 2 years later, they met. And it was a radically different situation. So do not take no for an answer, no matter what it is. And please don't let time muck you up. Because sometimes things take a little longer. We are in a day and age where immediate gratification is a blessing and a curse. You know, we kind of learned during the pandemic. So, we're learning to you don't always get everything immediately. What do you mean supply chain issues? Oh my God. I want it and I want it. No, we're giving up our Charlie and the Chocolate Factory business. Baruka salt. No to the inner Baruka salt. And yes to our good. That's what we're going to say yes to. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Then we're going to, you know what, maybe on my birthday, I'm going to do the push-ups like Reverend Michael. Don't hold me to it. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pray out now, which means I'm going to invite you to just move into the prayer field with me. And in the prayer field, which lets go of the temporal space, where you commune and connect with who you really are. This is where the dissolution, prayer dissolves the excuses. Prayer dissolves the no's, the N-O's, and it brings in the K-N-O-W's. That's what we're going to say yes to. All right? All right. Oh, we take a moment as each and every one of us, we become so malleable, so pliable, so benevolently vulnerable, in a space of awe, in a space of gratitude, knowing something wonderful is only and always seeking to express itself, to have its way benevolently and brilliantly, for this is the universal impulse. This is the impulse of the divine, only seeking good, only seeking bliss. This is the nature of life. Life is inherently cooperative. It is inherently symbiotic. It is inherently synergistic and serendipitous. The nature of life, the nature of God, which are one and the same. We're talking about capital L life, not lowercase l life where things are going left and right and up and down and we're talking about capital L life. Life eternal, life all good, life bliss, life joy. We are saying yes to the great remembering of knowing what it means to be born from from the heart, the mind, the light, and the love of eternal magnificence, born in the image and likeness of God. We choose to know what that feels like, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it expresses like, what it receives itself like. God loving God through you, to you, for you, as you. We choose to remember that God only vibrates at the primordial vibration of yes, of love, of joy, of goodness. There is no punishment. There is only cooperative brilliance. We choose to remember that that is our inner light. We light a fire under our own bum, and we say yes to fanning the internal, eternal flame of our brilliance. And we allow everything without excuse or delay to reveal itself as the truth that sets us free. I am grateful to know something wonderful has been awakened here. An even deeper, greater, grander experience, connection, and expression of your good. We open to those eternal frequencies of creation. We allow the chi, the prana, the life force to flow through us, move us, groove us, behoove us even more than ever before. Oh, how good it is to know that each of us has everything we need, every talent, every ability, everything we need. We move into this state and we say, "Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth." I choose to be nurtured, supported, up-leveled, uplifted into a greater and grander experience and expression of joy, of prosperity, of wellness, of sacred holy relationships, of being of service, which is simply the playground of the soul. We say yes to this. We claim it right here, right now. And we allow ourselves to ground it in our bones, in our cells, in our bone marrow, in our tissues by saying, "And so I let it be." And so it is. Amen. 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 Ashe. Aho. Mahalo. Shalom. Hotep. And hallelujah. Yeah. All right, Soul Center. The ushers are going to come forward. And as they're coming forward, I just want to speak to a moment for those of you online. You can see coming up with our high-tech capabilities on your screen. You can text to donate. Text the word GIVE if it's your first time. Text the word GIVE to area code 669-342-2157. Those of you can do it here if you'd like to as well. You can also Venmo at Soul Center OC under the business heading. You can click from the donate button on our soulcenteroc.com website. And you can also put cold hard cash or checks in these baskets. Some of you are auto tithers that are giving on a regular basis, and you're putting butterflies in the baskets. That's what those symbolize. So we are grateful. We're grateful to all of you who have been tithing around the globe. We're grateful to all of you as we get ready for our forever home. And as you know, we're coming up on our 9th anniversary. We're already planning for our 10th anniversary, which is our new home. So we are building for that. And with that being said, the ushers are going to go forward, and the beloved Deanna is coming back.
So let's keep having a beautiful Sunday morning /afternoon. Hope you all enjoy this song.
Keep it down, keep it down, keep it down, all I feel. Pretend I'm okay when deep inside I know I'm hurting. I smile to disguise all the lies I repeat internally. Then put my best face forward so they don't see all I've been hiding. Cause what I say to myself becomes my experience, and what I feel is what I believe. Cause what I think of myself becomes my experience. Maybe it's time I see myself differently. So I stop trying, and I stop proving, and I stop making myself small so others feel better around me. kept growing, and what emerged was a beautiful Sunday morning. So are you, but we get caught up in what others say, and now we running around here confused. But I refuse to believe in what they say or what they even think. But all I need is right here with me, and I'm just gonna be free. Cause what I think of myself becomes my experience, and what I feel is what I believe. What I say to myself becomes my experience. Well, maybe it's time I see myself differently. So I stop trying, and I stop proving, and I stop making myself small so others feel better around me. And I started trusting, and I kept growing, and what emerged was a beautiful Sunday morning. So I stopped trying, and I stopped proving, and I stopped making myself small so others feel better around me. And I started trusting, and I kept growing, and what emerged was a beautiful Sunday morning. It's time to wait, rise over the hill, shining like the sun. No time to wait, the dawn is coming. It's time to wait, come over the hill, blazing like the sun. No time to wait, the dawn is come. So I stopped trying, and I stopped proving, and I stopped making myself so small. I started trusting, and I'm growing, and what emerged was a beautiful Sunday. Yeah, yeah. And I stopped making myself small so others feel better around me. And I started trusting, and I kept growing, and what emerged was a beautiful Sunday morning. And what emerged was a beautiful Sunday morning. And what emerged was a beautiful Sunday morning.
Well, ain't that the truth? A beautiful Sunday morning. Thank you. Do you have CDs or anything?
Yes, I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Apple. Deanna Carpenter's Tsunami is my first album, and I'm working on the second one. Sunday morning is actually on the second album, so that should be coming first quarter 23.
Yay! Deanna Carpenter. All right. Thank you, ushers. We're going to go ahead. We're going to do our blessing of the offering. We extend our heart through our prayer and our heart. We extend our prayers through our heart and our hands. That's what I meant to say. We do so by recognizing the one power, the one source, the one supply of all good, that is omnipresent and omnipotent, always circulating its good. We say yes to being caught in that wave of prosperity consciousness individually and collectively, and the great remembering of knowing it is our job to bless everything and everyone, just as the universe blesses everything and everyone. We bless this offering. We bless our new home. We bless all of your endeavors, all of our endeavors. We let it all be good. We let it all be so, and so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
Amen.
Right, we have a treat for you today. have a little performance that Sadie is going to do for you. So I got a song, and we're going to put it on. Are you ready? Okay. This is the fight song. Okay.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves in motion. Like a single word, make a heart open. I'm not only one match, but I can make an explosion. And all those things I didn't say, wrecking balls and setting up the
Sadie, take a bow. And we'll all rise. Oh. We're doing our peace song. The words are in your programs if you want to follow along or sing along.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, this be my song proud. To take each moment and live each moment eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with
How good it is to know that we have today. We let peace, prosperity, joy, wellness, goodness rise up. The burning flame, we fan the embers and we allow it in our physical, emotional, mental, and our body affairs as a good. Simply allowing the soul, the divine, to have its way. Something has been ignited, something has been excited, and we are allowing it to be good and only good, and so it is. Amen. All right, Soul Center.